We are live. Hello, Dr. Rana.
Hi, Sandra.
مرحبا. It's a pleasure. And I
Always.
can't say it. I can't say it enough. The pleasure and the honor to have you هيك as part of our round tables and with really interesting topics. وكنا عم نحكي يعني قبل ما بلشنا نسجل إنه you are really the best at doing the topics يلي فيها shame وفيها taboos وفيها هيك push لإلنا إن كان women إن كان men in the Middle East لنكون مرتاحين أكتر مع ال experiences يلي بنعيشها بحياتنا. So I salute you for your expertise, your professionalism, and the knowledge and the wisdom you bring to our audience. It takes a lot of it takes a big heart and a big mind. So أهلا
Thank you
وسهلا
for
فيك.
even suggesting the topic, Sandra. I think what you guys are doing at Sira is brilliant. So thank you for even suggesting them.
It's an important topic and it's not discussed a lot and نحن this is Sira's mission is to really increase awareness and educate واكثر شيء انه نحكي بالتوبكس يلي نستحي او فيها يعني ككالتشر وكسوسايتي ما بنحكي فيها the wound that we carry because of these experiences is a big one, especially if somebody goes through life alone مع مثلا an experience of infidelity, whether you are the one who is doing it or whether it's being done to you or whether you're living with this fear. It's not easy to navigate through that. So بدنا نسمع منك الليلة ولكل الأودينس يلي هلأ they are joining وكتار نحن بنحب نذكر الناس إنه they are anonymous, so ما بنسمعكم وما بنقشعكم وما بنعرف مين أنتو. The only way you can interact with us is through chat. فبليز اسألونا أسئلتكم in the Q&A and please make sure to ask your questions anonymously for your privacy. We will also يعني mention it on the chat. هيدي first point. Second point, at the end of our talk, if we have more questions, we will open the room for discussion, a safe space. وكمان بنحب نذكر إنه بالsafe space we can't hear you, we can't see you, and you can ask your questions anonymously if you want to join us into the safe space and talk. The safe space ما بينعمل recording أبداً, or you can also talk directly to Dr. Rana. نحن هلأ we are live مع دكتور رنا. يعني رح أتركك دكتور تعرفي عن حالك أكتر للنيو أودينس ونبلش بموضوعنا يلي هو موضوع في كتير أسئلة في كتير تساؤلات we have a big audience ف hopefully they will interact and ask you also هيك share their concerns with you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sandra. So the reason نحكي عن هالموضوع from my perspective is my background as a trauma therapist. ولما نحكي نحن trauma therapy عم نحكي a lot of it has to do with how it impacts relationship وبالتالي marriages and so much more. So 100% infidelity is a big part of that. وهيك وهلا الساعة 3:30 هون بأستراليا 3:30 الصباح. But happy to join regardless.
A big thank you.
Can I start sharing, Sandra, so we get going?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. So موضوعنا اليوم اللي هو infidelity is very tricky بس very important إنه نحن عن جد نفهمه ونعرف عن شو عم نحكي لما نحن نقول infidelity، وهل يا ترى هالشي بيتصلح، هل يا ترى أنا فيي أشتغل مع شريكي أو شريكتي على هالموضوع، أو شو تأثيره على الزواج. نقاط كتير مهمة حنحاول قد ما فينا اليوم to cover it وتنجاوب على الأسئلة اللي عندكم إياها. Okay. لما نحكي عن so سؤال لازم نسأل حالنا بيسأل أو كتير عن تسأله هو ليه الشخص الآخر بيخون؟ هل يا ترى بس الأشخاص التعاسة بزواجهم بيخونوا. ونحن لما بنقول خيانة، شو بنعني؟ أي نوع من الخيانة؟ هل يا ترى هي شخص عم بيحكي مع شريكة خلال messages؟ هل يا ترى هي a sexual relationship؟ هل يا ترى هي emotional connection؟ هل هي just with a sex worker؟ أي نوع من الخيانات أنا فيي أعتبرهم، أو أي نوع من الانتراكشن أنا فيي أعتبرهم خيانة؟ وشو تأثير علي؟ وهل بس الرجال بيخون ولا المرأة كمان بتخون؟ وهل يا ترى الخيانة هي دليل إنه علاقتنا فاشلة ولازم تنتهي؟ في شغلة لازم نحن نكون واعيين هون، إنه الخيانة تأثيرها كتير كبير على العلاقة الزوجية، بس في كتير كمان misunderstanding على كيف أنا في أتعامل معها للخيانة لحتى ما تكون هي السبب بنهاية زواجي. أوكي؟ سو هون الشغلة لازم أنا أفهمها أكتر. infidelity basically هو لما الشخص التاني أنا أحس إنه هالشي اللي كان بس بيني وبينه، هالtrust، هالثقة، هالconnection يلي بس موجودة بيني وبينه راحت، بطلت بس بيناتنا نحن الاتنين. صار في شخص تاني كمان عم يشارك معي بهالشي. أوكي؟ هيدي هي عبارة الخيانة، لما هيدي الثقة بتروح بين هول الشخصين. في شغلة بحب أنا دايما أفكر فيها، إنه أنا لما بدي أطلع على الخيانة أنا بشوفها as what we call reversal of walls and windows. شو يعني؟ يعني أنا بالعلاقة إجمالا بكون فاتحة البواب، حيطان لماي بارتنر، فاتحة شبابيك لأشخاص التانيين بحياتي، colleagues, friends, people I enjoy spending time with. لما يصير في infidelity أنا بغلق كل البواب، ببني حيطان بيني وبين شريكي، وللأسف بصير كسر هالحيطان، الشبابيك تتحول لأبواب مشروعة مع الشخص الآخر يلي أنا بهالعلاقة معه بهالخيانة، عم بيكون في خيانة بيني وبينه. أنا هون لازم كتير انتبه إنه هل يا ترى أنا عم ببني هول الحيطان بعلاقتي الزوجية؟ هل يا ترى أنا عم بترك أو عم كسر هول الحيطان مع أشخاص تانيين لما أنا يمكن لازم بس أترك لهم شباك صغير مفتوح؟ وهالشي كمان بيكون له علاقة معظم الوقت بحياتنا الخاصة. هل أنا عم بعطي مجال للشخص الآخر إنه يفوت بخصوصيات زواجي، يفوت بخصوصيات حياتي؟ هون بيصير في الخطورة، هون بداية الخيانة. أوكي؟ شو تأثير الخيانة على العائلة؟ أوكي؟ خلال الخيانة نفسها الشخص الآخر يلي مش اللي عم بيخون، الشخص الآخر بالعلاقة الزوجية ببلش بحس إنه في شي مش ضابط، ببلش بحس إنه في شي تغير، لأنه مثل ما قلنا الشخص اللي عم بيخون بيكون عم بيبني هالحيطان. أوكي؟ أمرار ما بيكون واعي على حاله إنه هو عم بيبني هالحيطان، بس بيكون عم يبني هالحيطان. وللأسف هذا الشي بيأثر على العائلة كلها. ما بتبطل الخيانة بين المرأة والرجال، بتصير كمان بتوصل للولاد، لأنه هن بيحسوا بالتنشن الموجودة بالبيت، بيحسوا العاطفة يلي عم تتغير تجاههم وتجاه الأهل بين بعضهم. وبعد ما تصير أو تخلص الخيانة، أو بعد ما ينحكى إنه صار في خيانة وشو بدنا نعمل هلأ أو كيف تأثيرها على نكمل ولا نترك العلاقة، بالنسبة للشخصين بيصير في كتير huge humiliation. أوكي؟ للشخصين بيصير في humiliation، أكيد للشخص يلي انخان a sense of violation، إنه أنت سمحت لشخص آخر يكون جزء من شيء كتير خاص بيننا. الشيء التاني اللي بيصير أكيد كمان بيأثّر على العلاقة هو constant doubt إنه هل أنا يا ترى am I good enough؟ هل أنا يا ترى حاكون أقدر إنه أخلّي هالعلاقة تكمّل؟ هل أنا يا ترى باقدر أوثق بالشخص الآخر ever؟ فبيصير هيدا الtrust يلّي أنا عندي إياه تجاه هذا الpartner كل الوقت محطوطة تحت الميكروسكوب، كل الوقت أنا عم questioning هالعلاقة، وهل يا ترى أنا باقدر أوثق بالشخص الآخر؟ هل أنا يا ترى باقدر أعطي اللي هو بحاجة لإله؟ أو هل يا ترى هيدا الشي حيتكرر مرة تانية؟ في أشياء أساسية أنا بدي أفهمها كمان إلها علاقة الخيانة يلّي هن كتير عالم للأسف بيعتبروهن وقائع بس هن منّن وقائع. أولًا لازم نعرف إنه الخيانة it doesn't take you by surprise، مش هوب توب فجأةً تكتشف إنه شخص عم بيخون. يمكن نحن بالأول الsigns يلّي منشوفن منفضّل إنه ما نتطلّع عليهن، نتغاضى عنّن، ما نعطيهن أهمية، فمنحس إنه it was by surprise بس it's not. It's often a long process، بيكون كتير صار أشيا لحتى وصلنا لهيدي المرحلة. أوكي، نحن تغاضينا عن كتير أشيا والشخص الآخر كمان تغاضى عن أشيا بالعلاقة لوصّلته لهالمرحلة هاي. الشغلة التانية اللي مش مضبوطة وإلها علاقة بالخيانة إنه الخيانة ما بس بتصير بين شخصين أو بعلاقة زوجية صار بطّل فيها حُب. أنا باسمعها من كتير ناس إجوا لعندي إنه من بعد خيانة بيقولوا لي بس أنا ما عم بافهم لإنه نحن منحب بعضنا، كيف هيك صار؟ أنا I thought إنه نحن منحب بعضنا، فكيف هيك صار؟ So it's very important إنه نفهم إنه it's not about loveless marriage. خيانة ما بتصير لإنه بطّل في حُب بين اتنين. 55% من الرجال و35% من النساء هيدي statistics انعملت بأمريكا بيخونوا أزواجهم رغم إنه هن بيكونوا a happy marriage. وأنا ما عم بقول إنه happy marriage as in إنه pretending to be in a happy marriage. They really are in a happy marriage. بس في خيانة. and هون a lot of people إنه they question this. كيف ممكن يكون a happy marriage while في خيانة؟ لأنه الخيانة it's not about the marriage. خيانة it's not about the person cheated on. Okay, الخيانة it's about the person who is cheating and what they are going through. وهون كمان it's very important to understand. Okay, it's not about إنه إذا لنقول الرجال اللي خان إنه المرأة كان ناقصها شيء أو ما كان عم تعطي شيء أو ما كان عم تلبيه من ناحية معينة فهو راح يفتش على هالشي محل تاني. Okay, ما فينا ولا بأي طريقة to blame the victim in an affair. Okay, يعني إذا الرجال عم بيخون ما في أنا لوم المرأة لأنه بالنهاية هذا قرار هو أخده. Okay, إذا شيء أنا في لومه هو لأنه إذا there's someone who was lacking it's him, the person who committed the affair, the person who cheated. Okay, so هون it's really important to understand إنه I cannot blame the other person in the marriage. I have to blame only falls on the person who cheated. Okay, so cheating is the cheater's responsibility. It's not always about sex and being sexy. كتير من العلاقات extramarital اللي بتصير is just someone seeking companionship, someone seeking emotional bonding, someone seeking someone they want to feel like they are being heard with. Okay, حتى أمرار the sexual relationship is even better at home than in the affair. Okay, And mind you, a lot of the time, the person we are cheating with, or the person that is being cheated with, is different completely from the spouse. مش بالضرورة يكون better looking، مش بالضرورة يكون أصغر بالعمر، مش بالضرورة يكون more sexy, all of that. Okay, it's not about this. It's about finding someone different that is giving me something I'm missing. Okay. Well, this whole idea, affairs and cheating equals sexual relationship is also wrong. Okay. Affairs does not matter. Sex is not a big deal when it comes to خليني لحظة to reward it. It's not just about sex, okay? There is still cheating and affairs, even if there was no sexual relationship with whomever I am cheating. So أنا لما مثلا كون عم بحكي أشياء very deep and personal by messages مع شخص آخر, that's an affair. حتى لو أنا وبحياتي شايفته لهيدا الشخص التاني, أنا عم بسمح له يفوت على حياتي الخاصة, عم شاركه بأمور أنا قبل الأفير كنت بس عم شاركها مع جوزي مع مرتي, فبالتالي this is cheating. Okay. كمان it's not about the sex, it's about being deceived. It's about knowing إنه الشخص الآخر عم يعمل شيء من وراء ظهرك. It's about knowing إنه الشخص الآخر عم بفتش على شيء تاني. Okay, it's not about the sex. It impacts everyone. 80 ل 90% of betrayers or betrayed كانوا هن بحياتهم كأطفال, يعني ببيتهم عايشين مع أشخاص who are adulterous themselves. يعني their parents were adulterers. Okay, so أهلاتهم كانوا كمان within an affair مع شخص آخر. Good people can actually have affair. Okay, and when we realize that, when we take away the judgment from the person himself and look at the act as something good and bad and not the person, ساعتها بس أنا بقدر أشوف إذا أنا فيي أشتغل على العلاقة ولا لا. لما أنا أكون عم بنظر لجوزي إنه هو إنسان عاطل, أنا أكيد ما فيي أشتغل على العلاقة وحسنها. بس أنا لما أقول, وأنا بسمعهم كتير نسوان بيجوني بصراحة, معظم الكابلز اللي بيجوني بيكون the husband who has cheated, so أنا I'm using it from that perspective. كتير من النساء بتجيني بتقول لي أنا جوزي منيح, he's a good person, he's a great father, he's a really good husband. So ما عم بفهم كيف عمل هالشي. And the reason why is because we're linking being good or being bad to the actual affair, when it's not the case. Okay. And cheating is inevitable. That's another myth. في كتير أشخاص, خاصة الأشخاص يلي بيفوتوا بعلاقة premarital, بيستعملوا كلمة أنا كتير بتزعجني, ونحن الرجال كلنا هيك, أو كل الرجال بيمرقوا بهيك شيء, أو أنا مش لحالي, اختار غيري هيك. Yeah, بس actually إذا بتطلعوا على percentage in all of the population, only 18% of spouses cheat. So it is inevitable. Okay, you can actually not cheat. Okay. Okay. Again, this is based. Yeah. قد إيه صعب يكون عنا proper data بالميدل ايست. يا ريت عنا data بالميدل ايست عن هالشيء. So again, this is based on an American study. Sorry, infidelity affects about 35% of marriages. Sorry, it's about something different. ضيعت statistics. 24% of men in marriages cheat and 14% of women. Okay. معظم الوقت it's at the start of someone's marriage. And the reason why it's at the start of someone's marriage is that نحن منفوت على العلاقة الزوجية with certain expectation. منفوت على العلاقة الزوجية with certain demands and needs and requirements. And then منلاحظ إنه الحياة الزوجية منا مثل ما نحن متوقعينها. Okay. فيها ضغوطات كتير أكتر. It's not always flowers and roses and happy moments. فهذا الشيء it hits us hard. خاصة إذا نحن بحياتنا العائلية مع أهلاتنا للأسف كنا عم نفتش وبعدنا عم نفتش على this ideal partner. Okay. This ideal person is going to give us attention and love 24/7. يلي هو it's not realistic. Okay. So أنا as a بطفولتي I did not have the attachment and the bonding that I needed with my parents. I go and seek for it just with my partner, all of it from that partner. أنا عم بحط على هيدا البارتنر stress أكتر ما هن بيقدروا يتحملوا. And بالتالي أنا عم لاحظ إنه أنا I'm still missing and lacking something. Okay, so when it's important لما أنا I'm looking for that attachment in my partner to realize إنه أنا كمان I need to work on myself to what we call differentiate. يعني يكون عندي أنا حياتي يلي بتنميلي أمور معينة فيا أنا ما بطلبها من شخص آخر أو مني بحاجة لإلها أحصل عليها من شخص آخر. فبالتالي إذا ما عطاني إياها my partner ما بروح أفتش عليها عن شخص تاني. أنا بقدر نميها بحالي. أنا بقدر أشتغل عليها لحالي. Okay. كمان a lot of people who go into extramarital relationship لأنه بيلاحظوا إنه وصلوا لمرحلة بحياتهم الزوجية ما بقى قادرين يكملوا مع هذا الشخص. Okay, so كمان they seek extramarital relationship. So it's either or two extremes. In the last decades or so, كمان the rates for women seeking extramarital affairs is increasing كتير.
Why, Dr. Rana? Can you comment? For women.
هلا هيدا الواي لا in general لكل شيء. But to answer the why, it's a combination of things, Sandra. But one thing is that women are now becoming more okay with the idea of if he can do it, I will do it too. Why is it only men? It's kind of a rebellion in a way. بس بنفس الوقت I think there's just more reporting around it as well. عم بينحكى عنها أكتر. Okay, so as much as it's still a taboo, more women are even opening about it and talking about it in the open. Yeah. Okay, so why do we actually have these affairs? Again, مثل ما قلت نحن we try to seek something missing in us in our partner. Okay. We need that validation. We need that constant look of admiration. Okay. So نحن لما منحس إنه our partner for whatever reason بيشوفنا بطريقة شوي نيجاتيف أو بيعطينا ملاحظات أو منه دايما عم بيحسسنا إنه نحن we are amazing. I go seek that from somewhere else. Okay. So it's needing that نوع من vanity booster. Okay. بس كمان it makes you kind of think of this whole idea. If that person is giving me remarks here and there, or is telling me something negative here and there, it makes me question my whole being. Am I good enough? And that again takes us back to traumatic experiences in childhood. وهنا أنا لازم أفهم أنا لما أقول traumatic experiences in childhood لأن كمان بسمع من كتير عالم ساندرا بيقولوا لي بس أنا I didn't have a traumatic childhood. Okay. Do you feel at times إنه أهلتك ما كانوا دايما موجودين عم بيعطوك ال attention that you need؟ إيه كانت فترة حرب، أو إيه كان عنا مصاعب مادية، أو إيه ماما كانت تضطر تهتم فينا لحالنا، بابا كان عم يشتغل كل الوقت. This is a traumatic childhood. Not in the way we perceive trauma as something devastating, but it impacted us in a way. It is traumatic. And it's important to understand that. Some people are more vulnerable to affair, and those people are the people that we call people helpers. يلي بينطوا لحتى يكونوا موجودين للشخص الآخر. فبيكونوا للأسف كتير involved بحياة الآخرين. So بالتالي كمان بيخلوا الشخص الآخر to be involved in their life بلا ما ينتبهوا. And that's a big boundaries being crossed من الجهتين. الأشخاص اللي are prone to burn out فبالتالي they need that constant comfort. وأنا لما ما عم بقدر أحصل عليه من مرتي، مش لأنه مرتي هي السبب إنه أنا I'm doing the affair، بس أنا عم بطلب شيء extra. I'll go seek it somewhere else. Okay. Again لأنه هن بالنسبة لهم they're doing these things لأنه they want to hear praises، لأنه they want to be looked upon as a helper, looked upon as an angel coming down from heaven. كل هالأمور هاي. So again, there's that need for appreciation. كمان لما نحصل عليهم, we go and look for it somewhere else. Yeah. And because they become so dedicated to their marriage, to work, to other areas in their life, كمان هذا الشيء بيأثر على علاقتهم هن مع their main partner. And they start seeing إنه they're not being appreciated. يعني أنا حاعطيكم example. رجال عم بيشتغل 24/7 وهو معتبر إنه هو عم بيعطي وعم بيشتغل كرمال عائلته، عم بيعطي وعم بيشتغل كرمال ولاده، عم بيعطي وعم بيشتغل كرمال هالحياة الزوجية. بيرجع على البيت and then his wife tells him رجع بهالوقت هيدا على القليل اللي اعطيني عنه خبر إنه أنت مأخر، أنا لمين حضرت هالأكلات، أنا بالبيت كل الوقت لحالي وأنت ما بتقدر، which might be true كمان. okay. بس that person that in his head إنه أنا عم بعمل كل هالشي لعائلتي and then when I get home I receive these negative criticism, then they go and seek it somewhere else, this approval somewhere else, they go and seek this appreciation somewhere else. Okay. Again, mind you, أكيد المرأة هي كمان أو الرجال whoever is the other person is going through a lot themselves. بس لأنه ما في communication، لأنه ما في تعال نقعد ونشوف شو عم بيصير، why this is happening، ليه عم نترك حالنا نتخانق كل الوقت، ليه عم نترك حالنا in this turmoil كل الوقت. للأسف هذا الشيء بيوصل لهون. ساندرا أنا لاحظت إنه عندي كتير وصلنا قاطعين almost half the session، صح؟
صح.
So I can keep going.
Okay, keep going. وعنا أسئلة. So let me know when you can take questions. إذا بدك بالآخر ولا يعني you let me know. We have
لا فينا
already.
ناخد هلا before we jump into another thing.
Okay.
يلا.
All right. My husband doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. Am I allowed to cheat?
I can't tell you whether you're allowed. This is a personal choice you make. I think seeking help is very important, and talking, لأنه working through this on your own is not gonna be enough. You need extra or external support to really understand what's happening there. Why is he pushing you away من هالناحية?
So you advise them to go to couples therapy سوا?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be something that he feels he's lacking somewhere, and therefore ما بده I don't know, I'm analyzing هون من عندي. But a lot of the times why men push, especially men, they push their wives away during sexual relationship is because they feel they're not able to perform for whatever reason, or they don't want to show that to their wives. فبالتالي they push her away. Okay, so at times this is it. So it could be from a couple therapist, but it also could be a sexual. Yeah.
What can I do if I like attention from other men? Is this cheating?
So needing attention from others is very normal. Okay, and what makes it cheating? What do you do with that attention? Okay, is it just hearing a compliment every now and then and taking the compliment and accepting the compliment and moving on? That's not cheating, obviously. Okay, but Anna, when I go around fishing for compliment, and then once I hear the compliments, I become more involved in that person's life because he's giving me what I want in that sense, then yes. But we all like hearing compliments. It's nice. And when it comes from someone other than our partner, it makes it feel more strong as well. لأن يعني أنا لما جوزي وأنا أحب لي يقول لي you look gorgeous. إنه please, I'm pregnant. I've gained 20 kilos. I look tired and sleepy. How can you tell me I'm pretty? We don't accept it. بينما نسمعها من حدا تاني, it sounds much more sincere when it doesn't have to be.
Don't you think that marriages are not meant to last? Having one partner for life and with all the optionality, one is bound to cheat.
من يومين كنت عم بقرا شغلة very interesting is that monogamy is being with one person for that period of the relationship. And that means that having 500 monogamous relationship.
It's being with one partner at a time.
At the time. But for how long this was last. And it's true. لأنه things are becoming more quote unquote permissive. And there's more. يعني مثلا Australia, this is something very common. A lot of people are in open relationship. Many people are in open relationships. And therefore, there's that kind of thing. So you never know if you and your partner are into this, maybe discuss that with them as an option to be in an open relationship, that it's not cheating. If you are in an open relationship, it's not cheating.
يعني we should كمان maybe we could do another session وين بنفسر لأنه also open relationships يعني they're also portrayed أو بيحكوا فيهم as كمان إنه شيء كتير هين وكتير something هيك that is easily navigated.
No, it's not at all. There's so many rules around it.
Exactly. No. I had an affair for the past 3 years. I regret it and it's over. Should I tell my husband?
What do you want from, if it's over and you want to work? To be very honest, Sandra, I don't know if I can answer this as simple as that. لأنه في كتير أمور that also plays a huge role in this answer. كيف هلا علاقتك أنت وجوزك? Telling him this. Why do you feel the need to tell him this? What do you think it will add for you? And if you don't tell him, well, how do you think it's impacting you and your relationship? So stating a yes or no answer here is not appropriate, I would say.
Okay.
There's a lot
Don't
to
you think
discover.
don't you think that they have to be authentic? يعني, if she keeps this a secret, it's also not being very authentic in the couple.
Yes, yes, true. But and I have to also ask myself, if it's really long gone, yes, and I've pushed it on the side, and me being extremely, and me coming up and talking about it to my husband will lead to something like such as ending the relationship, because he's not understanding, because he, whatever reason it is, then I don't know. There's again, there's a lot at stake here. There's a lot at stake. Is it something that I will always have on my mind, and I will always question how much I love him because I cheated on him before? Then yes, that's something definitely I need to work on. But this is what I would suggest. Seek help. Don't go through this on your own. Talk to a therapist, talk to a psychologist, talk to a couple therapist. Because I think what's more important here, whether you share it or not with your husband, is you dealing with the possible, I don't know if that's your case or not, but possible feelings of guilt and maybe shame that may be there and will therefore impact your relationship with your husband.
آخر سؤال. Do you advise couples who are getting married to talk about what infidelity means for each partner before they get married or throughout
100%. 100%. Yes. What is it that you accept? What is it that you don't accept? What are you okay with? What are you not okay with? So أنا مثلا, I'll give you an example, Sandra. Okay. I told my husband from day dot when we first started dating, I said, listen, I don't like boys hanging out in certain spaces. Like, أنت تيجي تقول لي مثلا I'm going out for drinks with my friends. I personally don't like it. So أنا بالنسبة لي هذا خط أحمر. You want to go out with them during the day for coffee, that's fine. So no going clubbing and pubbing, why? If anything, take me with you. What is it that you're gonna be doing there that I can't be there? And he was like, fine, yep, not a problem. And then with time I changed. يعني هون بأستراليا أنا وياه أمران نظهر لحالنا with our friends, and I'm okay with it. But I needed to be, and this is when we say it changes. So yes, at the beginning, and then revisit it as you go. لأنه I think it's very important. 100% extremely important. لأنه it's not clear. It's not clear what you accept and what you don't accept. It's not universal. It's not universal. يعني مثلا بالنسبة لي having a male friend is okay, and I can talk to them without going and telling my husband ليك أنا عم بحكي مع هيدا الشخص, as long as again هيدا الشخص ما عم بحكي له أنا عن خصوصيات علاقتي أنا وجوزي. Yeah, we're not transgressing هيدا الثقة. My husband knows about him. منا عم بعمل هالشي من ورا ظهره. He doesn't know what we talk about all the time. I don't have to take his permission when I'm talking to him, but he knows of his existence. And the other person doesn't know of the existence of the person that I talk to and feel comfortable talking to, then this is a big question. So ليه حكينا عن هالشيء؟ Sorry.
كنا عم نحكي عن should we have this discussion?
Yeah. بينما مثلا بالنسبة لأشخاص تانيين, no, you cannot have male friends. And this is end of story. يعني no, this is not something I would want you to do. ساعتها أنت you can actually see whether it's okay for you ولا لا.
All right. رح نخليك تكفي ونرجع على الأسئلة. We have also more questions. We'll take them.
Okay. هحاول أمشي شوي أسرع.
No, it's good. You have the time. You have the time.
Okay, good. So there are many factors that increase the temptation to actually go to have an affair. But I'll mention 12 main ones. As a شخص عم يمرق a long-term stress and fatigue, then that increases the likelihood for them to actually go in an affair, to commit an affair. If they desire to escape a painful marriage, that's a big factor. As I feel poor communication skills, ما في proper conflict resolution, ما في proper problem solving skills come in. If they are trying to relieve sadness, if they are feeling bored, as they feel old and they want to feel rejuvenated, so they go and seek that adventure, quote unquote. If they're longing for approval or attention, as we mentioned a lot earlier. If they think they're stuck in their marriage as a person, they're stuck in their marriage, there's no place for growth, then they might actually seek that in an affair. If they are if there's that fear of, okay, this is getting too close, so I'm gonna shut down and go find someone else to feel a bit close to, and then shut down again and find someone else, then that also is a big risk. As I feel resentment, towards the partner, that I go and seek for that love from someone else. As the person on a sexual level, they need or want certain the sexual desires that are not satisfied in the marriage, then they might go and seek. So هون كلمة deviant is wrong, to be honest. هلا عم برجع أفكر فيها مرة في حتى deviant. They don't necessarily have to be deviant in any way. They just could be sexual or sexual needs, fetish, or certain sexual acts that maybe the partner finds not appropriate, doesn't like, whatever, and then they might go look for it somewhere else. If they have that entitlement, that sex makes me happy, or that I am entitled to everything I want in a relationship, then they might go seek for something else. Sometimes the parents may be also playing a huge role in this. Unfortunately, أنا بسمع كتير بمحلات معينة where the mother-in-law might say something, ليك بنت الجيران دي أنا روحت عليك, and then that plays a huge role. And then if you have friends who cheat, then you might be more permissive, لأنه هن بيحسسوك so that they don't feel guilty. بيحسسوك إنه it's something normal and everyone does it, and it's part of being in a relationship. It's just a normal pattern. Then you're more likely to also cheat. Okay. How do people get into this whole thing? So first and foremost, they start fantasizing about the involvement before even getting involved, okay? Whether fictional or with real people. And this is normal, okay? So fantasizing is very normal, okay? Again, even if the other person is real, fantasizing about them it happens. It's normal. But am I also, again, letting this fantasy take over? Am I using this fantasy during my sexual relationship with my husband? Am I using this fantasy to guide me in my day-to-day thing? Is it taking over my thinking and what I do in my life? Then that's a question mark, okay? Then from the fantasy, I start becoming emotionally involved with certain people, okay? Certain friendship where there becomes a form of dependency. So I start relying on certain individuals to meet my marital needs, okay, on an emotional level. And then it becomes the physical involvement. And with the physical involvement, with the emotional involvement, I have to say something extremely important, Hona. It's very hard to detect it. It's very hard to detect or even admit emotional involvement, because a lot of people بيدافعوا عنه, there was no sin committed. so I'm okay. Yeah, but no, there are motives there that are wrong to start with. Okay. And then comes, okay, so before that, let me talk about the warning signs pre-physical involvement. Okay, so pre-physical involvement, there will be some warning signs that will kind of let you know there's something happening there. Okay, you on a person before going into the physical. So not the person who is being cheated on, the cheater himself. These are warning signs that, okay, there's something wrong here. I need to step back. Okay, so when you start realizing that your partner is not giving you the need that you need, that you require from them. Okay, whether it's attention, whether it's fun times, whether it is approval or affection, you start realizing that this is happening, directly question what's happening in the relationship and seek help. Talk to your partner. Okay, لأنه if this goes on for a long time, it may lead to an affair. When you realize that it's being with certain people is easier than being with your partner, you feel more comfortable to talk to them and share stuff with them than it is with your partner. Tamena, directly take a step back and question what's happening there. If you discuss your problems with that person, and it's not just a friend like you're talking to, okay, you're discussing it even like it's much more than that. Okay. This is that I love this because it's something very important. You start dressing up with the other person in mind, meaning whatever I'm gonna go out as or wearing, I consider if that person is gonna see me, what they will say. Okay, how would I look for them? Okay. And obviously you look forward to just being with that person. If that person wasn't there, what would you do in life? And this is the last point اللي حكيت عنها قبل. You actually hide this from your partner. So if you have a good friends that you talk to and your partner knows about them and it's not transgressing any personal elements that you wouldn't share with just a normal friends, then that's a big question mark. Okay. Then comes the physical involvement. Okay. This is when we want more than just emotional intimacy. We want actual physical intimacy. And it starts with a kiss and then escalates to bonding and then more and more. And it becomes really hard to break from that. Okay. Once the physical involvement happens, it becomes really hard to break that. Okay. And the reason why it's hard, like, we start rationalizing it. We start putting excuses to it. We start giving it some form of a validation. Yeah. So, and we have to understand that it does, in a way, become a form of addiction. Yeah. And then we start to explain ourselves. A lot of the time putting the blame على الشخص الآخر, criticizing the other person. And you led me to this. What did you expect? Of course I was gonna cheat. Vanity, you weren't giving me any attention, which is a big no-no, because that's not it. Okay? That's not it. And like I said, it becomes an addiction. This will be the last time. And then this will be the last time. One more, and then no more. And so on and so forth.
Dr. Rana, مرات couples they understand, or the partner in the couple understands that their marriage or their relationship فيها نقص وعايشين they're aware إنه في هيدا النقص, and for them the affair is an escape. يعني بنسمعها كتير, to stay in the marriage. يعني حطيناها إحنا كمان in our social media إنه the affair helps me stay in the marriage. what do you say about that؟ لأنه maybe for those people the alternative يعني من perspective الcheater إنه it's an end to the marriage أحسن ما يخلص المارriage و sometimes they have kids to keep this the marriage going they need their escape or to vent out or to find themselves in another relationship in parallel.
So هون there's two things that I need to be aware of. One, do I really still love my partner? Do I really want to be with them? But there's that need that I need to kind of fulfill. If that's the case, then obviously I have to end the relationship, the affair, and work on my relationship with my husband so that need is not in the relationship with my partner, not somewhere else. Two, am I just being in the relationship because I have kids? Is it really a miserable relationship? And I'm just staying in the marriage because I can't divorce society, my kids, my family. Then, to be very honest, that's not an okay of an excuse. No. And I am, if it's for the sake of the kids, my kids are being impacted by whatever is happening much more than what they may be going through if I had a civil divorce, like a civilized divorce.
Okay.
So not using the kids ever to stay in a marriage. This is very important. Not using the kids to stay in a marriage and not getting pregnant to maintain a marriage. All الشغلتين are a big no-no because the kids will suffer at the end of it.
So here you advise talking يعني with the partner and really finding إنه يعني واحد يلاقي حل مع البارتنر يعني بالحالتين إنه to go back and evaluate the primary relationship and then decide.
100%.
What about كمان we hear this kind of تفكير أو thought process إنه sometimes a marriage needs affairs to be shaken up and maybe it brings back يعني energy to the couple يمكن it brings back بيصير we don't take each other for granted بيصير فيها shake up
which is true Sandra, but will I go into an affair for that to happen? No. I can shake it up without going into the affair.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes an affair does that. That's the consequence of an affair, but it doesn't mean that the solution for my marriage to become better is for me to go into an affair. But yes, you're 100%. If and there's a lot at stake here. If both parties are willing to, وهلا حنحكي عنها in more details how to actually do this, but it takes a lot of openness. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of willingness to admit being at fault for this to actually happen. Okay, so for the person who was cheated on, to be able to really survive the affair, first and foremost, they need to get help. Okay, لأنه نحن, when we know about the affair, we have the primitive reaction, obviously, حيكونوا huge, right? Whether it's leaving the house, whether it is becoming abusive, whether it is not being able to control our responses, thinking that you can't be with that person, and just knowing that you really cannot save your marriage by yourself when this happens. Okay, it's really important to understand you can't save your marriage by yourself. It's draining. And after an affair. شغلة تانية اللي كتير مهمة إنه you really have to let yourself feel all the feelings. It's a grieving process. It's a huge loss. So it takes time. So venting both anger and sadness is extremely important here. You are allowed to be angry and you are allowed to be sad. Okay. This is you have to understand that you have to look at cheating as if it was abuse. This is not something for you to take lightly. Do not enable them to carry on the affair. Do not give them the permission to kind of not. And a lot of time I hear women say غضت النظر. غضت النظر لأنه it's better than whatever something else. But this is no, you can't, because you need to get that respect that you deserve. Okay, the person who is cheating on you is disrespecting you, so this, and you have to kind of demand that respect. Okay, so really there should be consequences to this, and setting boundaries very clearly, what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate, while at the same time remaining respectful, which is tough. Yeah, it's tough to do that. Hona is something very tricky. Sometimes we know we want and we deserve and we need information about the affair, because it will actually kind of disarm the secrets around this relationship. It kind of gives you back some power. But if you're not willing to listen or hear certain details, then don't ask about them. Yeah, it's hard. A lot of people don't realize this, but sexually transmitted diseases, even if the person is in a sexual relationship or in an affair with not a sex worker, it still means, make it very clear that you're not going to accept to actually even be with them intimately if this is not, if they didn't end the relationship and they are not cleared for STDs. Yeah, like this is something you're not gonna go back on. And then it's when we're saying recognize that they're on drugs, as I mentioned, it becomes some form of an addiction. And therefore it's, again, don't look at it as you on a personal level. It's not personal to you. Yeah, they cannot get out of it. It's not because of you. And it's important, therefore, to accept what happened as an act of discretion. Yeah. Transgression. I think that's the term. But look at it as such. But avoid that victim mentality. It's very important if you want to work on your marriage to avoid that victim mentality. And even if it's hard, you need to find, again, if you want to work on your marriage, to find that forgiveness. Okay. But at the same time, don't allow yourself to be manipulated by guilt. Yeah. It's not about feeling that. Now, for the person who has cheated.
قبل ما معنا أسئلة.
يلا.
نقطع أسئلة كمان. My husband treats me like crap. He's always absent and sleeps alone. We're like strangers. I thought many times about creating a fake account to look for someone to love and to feel loved. I would never cheat, but the idea crosses my mind. Yeah, this is very common in relationships that get to there. So Hona, again, it's important to seek help to see what has happened there. شو اللي خليه إنه to what we say turn away and not turn towards the partner. Sometimes it could be something as simple as them being so stressed at work and life that they just shut down. They might even be having a depression, so they're not being able to actually work with anything beyond what they're going through. So it's important to seek help for you both to see what's happening for them and how you can work on the relationship so that doesn't take place. But yeah, what she stated is exactly why people would go for something like that. Yeah. What to do if I cannot accept having someone cheat with me due to values, although I really want it deep down? We are talking about two people who feel a connection like no other on an emotional level, and saying no is risking an old friendship that brings satisfaction to both.
Okay, so she wants to say no to the cheating because of values, but if she says no, then there's a lot of question mark there. So I'm assuming it's a she, I don't know, but honey, you have to take into consideration the risk of both elements. Is it really worth it? Is the friendship and not breaking that friendship really worth it? And if that's the case, then what about the other person who is being cheated? That's something also to take into consideration. Yeah.
اللي عم بتبين لنا أكتر وأكتر دكتور رنا إنه really it's in rare cases about the other person.
Yeah,
إنه
no, 100%. It's
repeated
never about the other person. It's never about the other person not being good enough, not being sexy, not being beautiful, not being wanting to do so. It's really about you, your needs, your desire, your wants, your expectations that are not being fulfilled. And instead of communicating about it, instead of asking about it, instead of the number of times, Sandra, اللي بيجوا عندي مثلا ناس بيقولوا لي انه بس انه my husband مثلا, let's say, would never accept for us to do this sexual relation in this way, or sexual pose, or whatever. And my initial answer is, did you ask them? And they're like, no, I would never give. Why? If you think it's odd to ask your husband, why do you think that? Why is it then okay to do it? To me, if you think it's a taboo to even ask your partner, who should be the person that you feel most comfortable with, most at ease with, most that you feel you can really be whomever you want with, then why do you feel comfortable doing that with someone else?
حكيتي عن the one who's cheated on. برأيك إنه after all this يعني عطيتينا مثل إنه what are the things that the process, if you want, of understanding the affair and maybe thinking about repair. Do you think this violation of trust can be repaired?
Hala, we'll talk about it. Okay. So again, to survive the affair, the person who has cheated needs to take full responsibility for what went wrong. Full responsibility. You cannot blame your partner for your choices. Yeah. And actually accept the reaction. Accept that you have caused them so much pain, and they're allowed to whatever they're going through. Obviously, get help. Yeah. Get help from a counselor, get help from someone who can make you accountable, from someone who can help you be on track, all of that. And then create that safety again. And all the walls والwindows اللي حكينا عنهم بالأول, reverse them again. Build the walls around the person, the people that you have to build the walls with, the people you've had the affair with. And then open the doors for your spouse. And you can do that by ending all secrets and volunteering information to your partner about what's happening. You go and start telling them about things. Yeah, I have a couple. I say I'm proud of what I've done with them, but I haven't done anything with that couple. But the woman came to me because she discovered she was cheated on. Okay. And then there was a lot of processing there for her. And then we had a couple therapy with her and her husband. And it was so interesting because he was so willing to really work on everything. And he took the blame, like all the steps اللي هلا عم نحكي عنهم عن جد. without me having to say anything, he was on top of it. And that really helped with building that trust again. And it was sincere, and when it's extremely important. It's not me saying something so I get the freeway to do something else. I'll give her a bone and then I'll go and get the treat. And it's not like that. So it's important to understand this.
بس يمكن هي exceptional case لأنه عادة يلي بيصير إنه the cheater starts lying back and forth.
Yeah, and that's why I'm taking credit for it. No, like I said, أنا ما عملت شيء يعني, بس it was just it was a huge realization to see for both that this is something they can work on.
هون قد إيه خطورة sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
إنه usually the typical reaction we see is lying, even يعني to hide details, to protect oneself and to protect maybe the other كمان.
And this is what was interesting in this relationship, Sandra, is that when this wife went and told the husband, look what you've done, he said, yeah, I have. And that by itself is huge. Because in no way he said, it's because of what you have done. It's because you were away. It's because we were living apart. It's because they were living in different places. It's because I was missing this or that or whatever. He was like, yes, you're right. Yeah. Which is very rare. But extremely important. Extremely important. Cut off from the person you cheated with, not even any messages, okay? Even if that would make you a depressed, sad person, that doesn't matter at the moment. And be mindful that at times you want to go back, because like you said, it's like drugs, like being on drugs. You want that back. That's why getting the help is extremely important, so you don't get back, you don't relapse into it. And then work with your partner to kind of work on all that was lacking. Yeah. So for example, if I was with that person I cheated with because I liked certain things about myself when I was with them, what is it that I liked? Can I find that with my partner? What is it what needs were met that I can also actually go and talk to my partner about and say, listen, this is important. But again, when we do this, we don't go back and say, but by blaming and pointing, no, it's not about that. You never communicated about it properly. I wasn't even aware that you needed all of this. There was no proper actual talk around this.
مرات يمكن كمان بيصير في communication and we are aware إنه في أشياء بس we are unable to meet the need, ما بناخدهم seriously, ما بنفكر إنه بيودوا للتاني ياخد action, بنتغاضى, بيكون عنا غير priorities. يعني مثل ما قلتي it's a myth إنه تكون surprise.
No,
يعني
it's not a surprise. Yeah.
يعني أكتر الأوقات بنكون متوقعين إنه something is not okay, بس ما بناخد action.
Yes. True. True. And a lot of the time, and this is the problem, Sandra, when we take what the other person is telling us lightly, then it feels to that person that I'm not. So I'll tell you an example, okay? Let's say my husband came and asked the wife for they've had that, and there wasn't even an affair, okay? But he went to her and said, I would like you, to wear a leather thing when we're having a sexual relationship and have it rough, whatever. This is not okay. She doesn't feel comfortable with it. So she would say, la, and ignore it, right? And move on. This is big question mark, right? But if she actually sits with him and says, is this something that you really like? I don't feel comfortable with this. This is something that makes me uncomfortable. Can we find something else that will kind of give you that بس مش without having us to go there. I didn't ignore him. I validated his need. بس بنفس الوقت I've set the boundaries around what I can and can't do. هلا, if that person still ignores all of this and goes for an affair, then there's a lot I can question about the person himself. So كمان I have to bear in mind that yes, maybe the person is not a bad person, but this marriage is not meant to be. We're just not fit as partners. And that's why the affair happened. And this is a big sign that maybe, yes, we have to end the marriage. So أنا ما بقول إنه every single affair can be, every single marriage that went into an affair, the marriage can be restored. Sometimes this is needed for the marriage to be shaken and for it to go into a divorce. It really depends on a lot of things there. Okay. Self-accountability is so important. Again, I'm aware of time. We're almost done. But it's really important that you own your own experience. Okay. Never say you made me feel this way. It's more about I felt this way because I needed something and you did not validate that. And it made me feel this way. Okay. It's not about punishing the other person. It's about learning together to move forward in the relationship. And then لأنه that's the case. Making a choice is extremely important. Do I really want to work on this relationship or not? Am I committed to it or not? And this is why prioritizing clarity and setting expectation is key. What is it that I want? What happened? How you felt? And what you did. So this is extremely important. So when you come late from work, it makes me feel neglected. Okay. And this is about me, what I feel when this happens. It's not about you made me feel neglected. You didn't make me feel neglected. It's a behavior that happened that made me feel that you have made me feel this way, not you personally. Okay. Be curious about the context of the behavior and really have an understanding about what was happening there. It's not the person that is necessarily a bad person. Okay, it's the behavior. And something extremely important, I had fundamental attribution errors that we do. This idea of black and white about the others, but not when it comes to ourselves. When we are in a bad mood, it's because we had a bad day and we are allowed to be in a bad mood. But if they are in a bad mood, it's because they're not a nice person. Yeah. So this black or white when it comes to us, but to others, but this nuance thing to us is something we need to be mindful of. Practicing grace is so important. What do I mean by that? It's okay to be mad at your partner, and it's okay to be mad at yourself. But this does not mean إنه البيت كله يولع. Okay, it doesn't mean إنه البيت كله يتهدم. So acknowledging that what has happened, you don't condone it. You don't condone the behavior that has happened. But there is room for redemption and healing. Again, if you have chosen to go through that path and continue in the relationship. Okay. Okay. So, I might not be able to protect my marriage from an affair. Okay. This is not something I might be able to do it. But there are certain steps that I can take to safeguard the marriage. one of the main things هو إنه مثل ما قلنا بالأول acknowledging attraction and happens. It's very normal. We all are attracted to other people. Okay, regardless of how much we love the person we're with. You know, معقول حدا يشوف شخص حلو ما يقول عنه حلو. No, it doesn't make sense. We identify this and we acknowledge it. نرجع على the signs اللي حكينا عنهم كمان. When I feel vulnerable, when I feel I'm starting to build an emotional connection with someone, when I feel my marriage is shaken for whatever reason, don't ignore that. Talk about it. Okay, clarify what's happening. If you do feel an attraction, talk about it as soon as possible, not in a couple of years' time. And to go back to that person who asked, the husband might actually say, why are you telling me now? Why now? Why not before? Okay. Maintain boundaries for yourself in relations to other. Don't go sharing deep things with another person that is not your spouse. Okay. Window to your partner, walls to all others. This is so important to understand. When you realize there's attraction, you have to understand that 80% of that attraction is based on something not real. Okay, and it will fade away with time as well. Okay, so as soon as you find that attraction, be mindful of it. When you are going through something, don't keep it for yourself. Talk about it with your husband. Ask for the things that you need. And make sure that you are always keeping that light between you and your partner. Okay, always keeping that spark. Whether it's through date night, whether it's through playful sexual relationship, whether through just being intimate with each other. Invest in this relationship as much as you can. It's so important. That's it. I'm done, Sandra.
عنا كم سؤال هيك before you close.
يلا.
Okay. Okay. How to accept their reaction while they have always been away and refuse the close emotional relationship in the marriage, and to them, my duty is sex only. They blocked every attempt over and over, and the affair for once made me feel more alive than ever.
Unfortunately, yes, I can understand where that's coming from. And again, there's so much to uncover there. And counseling therapy is the key if you really want to work on this. Lano, there's a big, okay, so here's a couple of things we have to identify. And it's what's leading the husband to, or the partner to, not turn towards me. Okay. Because that's what's making me find someone else that can give me that. Okay. What's happening for them, and if I can change something about it. And what would that mean to us both?
I have been in an affair and I'm not happy in my marriage, but don't want to divorce because I'm scared and unsure if this is just a phase. If I tell my partner, it will end my marriage.
I'm looking at you, Sandra, and this is the case with most relationships, affairs. There's no clear answer I can give here. And all I can say is I hear you and I understand what you're feeling, and only you can answer those questions yourself. by actually, and one way to actually do this is by stepping away from the affair, working on the relationship, and then seeing what's happening. And if really working on the relationship does not lead to anything, then yes, maybe you are not in a positive marriage, and maybe the affair was not just something something small.
يعني هون شو بتنصحي دكتور رنا؟ لأنه مرات كمان المارجز بيقطعوا بفيزز، يمكن الأشخاص they grow apart
100%.
فترة يرجعوا. يمكن إنه واحد إذا took the step of being very authentic and talking about it, it might lead to an end in the marriage when يمكن يعني لو صارت الافير in secret and then they got back together يعني then it made the partner realize إنه okay I want to be in the marriage and
that's why it's not something that they can do on their own. So that's why I always say, and when you're trying to kind of make that decision whether you want to stay in a marriage or not, it's important to seek a couple therapist. Why? The couple therapist will not make the decision for you. That's not what they will do, but they will be able to allow you to see and reflect on things in your life that if you're just you and your husband talking about it, you will not be able to see. So بيكون هو عم ينزل الأمور, that third observer that we all need. How many times do friends come and tell you about something that they see in a relationship between you and your boyfriend, your husband, whomever it is, and you're like, no, and you ignore it? It's because they're able to perceive things from a different perspective. So they can't do it on their own, because yes, it might lead to wrong decisions sometimes.
Great advice. How can I stop a 2-year affair? I don't have the power. هذا آخر سؤال and then we end. شو فيك تعطي نصيحة ليلي they are in an affair, they would like to stop but they are unable to emotionally. يمكن لأنه حكيتي عن attachment, حكيتي عن addiction.
It is an addiction. Yeah. Again, seek help. Seek help. Talk to a therapist, talk to a psychologist, talk to a counselor, seek help. لأنه you need to understand what it is that about that relationship that what it is that you're addicted to in that relationship. And can you find it, or ask for it, or seek it in the marriage? Because sometimes it's just based on you going through your own personal issues, and therefore understanding that, fulfilling that on your own. Sometimes it's also not about asking the partner for anything. Sometimes it's about I am not well in my own body, in my own self, and seeking therapy would allow me to kind of understand that, and therefore just seek something within me, not even necessarily with my partner.
Amazing session. ما بدنا إياها تخلص. Just checking. المبدأ ما عنا أسئلة and we're close to the stop of our time. هيك إذا بدك تخلصي ب key takeaway, I would like first to say a big thank you. It was an amazing presentation. It's a must see for every couple, whether they pass through an affair or not, whether they're getting married or not. It's very important to understand هالintricacies, هالاشياء يلي هالchallenges يلي معقول يواجهوها, the warning signs مثل ما حكيتي. يعني it's so important to know بأي direction الواحد رايح. يمكن في يوقف حاله قبل ما نوصل لمحل where we can't stop. The communication is so key, and understanding that it's a lot of an individual struggle, مش a couple, مش كتير couples أكتر individual, and to be accountable. So كتير قطعتي messages كتير مهمة لحياة الكابل ولا being in a relationship. بهنيكي وهيك it was really very informative. بحيلا واحد بحيلا stage من زواجه كان this is very important to know. You have a couple of minutes. What would be هيك your ending parting message للaudience تبعنا اليوم يلي هيك they were participating و vulnerable. We thank them for their trust.
Yeah, thank you so much for your trust. Thank you so much for being open about all of this. I think, and the fact that, Sandra, you're providing them with that anonymous space to be able, and safe space to be able to do that. That's great. So thank you, Laeli Kabena, Sira, for being able to do that. The one thing اللي أنا عن جد بدي أقوله هون is a lot of people seek help at the end when things are really hard and when help cannot do much. So please, please don't leave it till all walls are destroyed. Seek help as soon as you can. Don't think that you have to do it on your own. You don't have to. Okay. So
We love it. Thank you so much. And يعني if anybody would like to contact you, نحن كمان we are ready to give all your details. كمان you can see clients remotely. That's not an issue. وهيك we look forward to more sessions with you with nice and bold topics. It's always a pleasure to co-host with you, Dr. Rana. نحن بس نحب نذكر كمان الناس إنه they can watch the replay on the app starting in a couple of minutes, and it will be posted on YouTube if they want to share it, or for anonymity كمان. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. You just look for Sira, SIIRA, and you can find our YouTube channel. So subscribe. دايما our sessions are also put on YouTube. الهدف is to raise awareness ونفتح المواضيع مثل ما بلشتي وحكيتي إنه there are myths ما بنعرفها. It's very important to know all this stuff and seek help as early as possible as prevention تما نوصل مع crisis. يعني have a great morning لإلك. نحن نخلص عشية and we hope to see you in other sessions. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Sandra.